Hi everyone. My name is Jess. Welcome to my channel. It has been such a long time since I've done any videos for this channel and even since I've been live for real. So um, I'm not really expecting, a lot happening on here right now, but I did want to take some time with you all to kind of just share a little bit of my learnings as far as what I've learned being in the career that I've had so far about skills that set you out, well, skills that set you apart as an IO psychologist. And it just goes beyond IO. I think it's a skill set. If you develop these skills and like really lean into these, this is something that you can take to pretty much any sector you go into, whether it's academia, government, private, corporate, or even like consulting, right? And depending on where you go with your career, naturally you'll be able to build some of these, and I'll talk through some of that a little bit. But overall, I think it's a good thing for those of you in grad school now to start thinking about now how you can build it. And I'm going to be throwing in, a lot of information at you, but that's okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. Nobody's expecting you all to like understand this and execute against this today, but it is really helpful, when you have the opportunity for you to start exercising some of those skills. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to jump right in. I don't expect this to be super long, but like I said, I'm just going to share with you and also provide some more resources so that you can explore more. So I've written them down. The first one I would say is project management. Do you understand how to create a project, define timelines, milestones, determine the stakeholders, and that will be impacted? And do you know how to define resources and etc.? So this is not, sorry, it's saying my connection is unstable. So I hope I'm not breaking up. But this is something that, it's a muscle that you can start flexing now. And if you can actually like really learn how to put a project together, put the right people together, define the timelines, hit the timelines, all that type of stuff, you will be really great in the role that you take on. I want to share a resource, a book that's really helpful, Strategic Project Management by Terry Schmidt. I think that's how you pronounce this last name. I'm not 100% sure. But this would be very helpful for you all to just read, like really read, take it in. Because again, this person kind of breaks down the elements of a project, how to put it together, and really starting with the problem to solve, why you're even coming together for this project, what this project represents, this and such. So I hope that's helpful for you. I'm going to move on. Well, actually, let me go back. Before I move on, the way you can start flexing your project management muscle is in grad school. We have a lot of, how do you say, group projects. And so as much as you can start getting involved in those group projects and kind of taking the lead on owning, okay, this is kind of what we're working towards. This is, the timelines that we need to meet it. This is what needs to be completed in order for this to get going, and et cetera. Like that will help you really flex that muscle and build that muscle. So when you get in the workplace, you're kind of already thinking in that way, right? Somebody put a new thing on your desk and you're like, hey, I want you to go explore X, Y, and Z. You at least have something to start with. You're not going to be in the dark like, okay, I've done a project before. I know the key elements that I need to be thinking about now, more so identifying what is this project going to be solving, and then like bringing everybody else along. So I hope this book is helpful for you. I will tell you personally, I've done a lot of project management in my corporate role. I personally enjoy project management. When I was in grad school, I was very much big on time management, how I thought about, even when I was studying for tests, I was very like pointed and strategic on that and kind of set out a schedule for myself. And so that skill set, when I went into corporate, I just built on that more. So as much as you all can kind of, again, start building that skill set for yourself, when you go into your next, wherever it is you go, it'll be helpful for you. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is a big one, is storytelling. And I'm sure you hear it a lot, right? As IO students, we learn how to tell a story more from a research aspect, right? Especially if you're in a PhD program. How do I put this story together? How do I tell it? All of this, how do I craft it to our audience and such? I would say, being where I am and being where I am now, there are people out there who can really tell a story. They do it so flawlessly and they're convicting. They make, obviously it has to make logical sense, but it's a convicting story where you get bought in, right? They just have that skill, they have that influence. As much as you can emulate or lean into that, it'll set you apart. I think how you communicate, how strong of a communicator you are really does set you apart in the workplace. And the stronger you are, the better, because it allows you to influence more. It allows you to really like bring people in and people want to like learn more from you or be a part of you. And it really comes down to, I know you all have heard some people who say things, but they say it really nicely or they say it like very grand. And in those moments, it's like, oh yeah, like they said it really like, but logically it makes no sense. It's because they have that skill, right? They have that skill, that gift of communication, that gift of telling a story and bringing people on board. So as much as you can build that skill for yourself, it's going to set you apart, especially when you have that technical expertise behind you and more of that scientific background. But you can kind of lean into it with people at a third grade level, right? Be able to tell your story at a third grade level to your audience. It's going to be sweet. And I'll be honest with you, I am a person, I'm still working on that myself, right? The uhs, the saying it with conviction and things of that nature. But through time, I'm hoping that I get there. But I wanted to share that with you all because, again, there are some strong communicators out there. And if you see people now who do a great job, start shadowing them, asking them what do they do, to prepare for a talk, ask them, what, you can even tell them you're a great communicator to me. Like, what's your process, X, Y, and Z. And another thing to that too is the visual part, the visual storytelling. I will say when I was in grad school, this was something that I didn't appreciate as much. I won't say I didn't appreciate it at all, but I didn't appreciate it as much. And I think this is a very much overlooked skill, but if you can get it right and you like start practicing on it now, the way you put your slides together, the way you like, again, it just helps with the story that you're telling. Visual storytelling is so important. And crafting your visual stories to your audience, right? Making it something that people want to lean in, making it, again, it's a tool that's there to help supplement the information that you're sharing so that people, again, you're influencing, people are getting bought in, people, whatever idea that it is you're looking to sell or share, they have that here. So as much as you can, start, whenever you have a slide presentation or anything like that, like I would encourage you all take a little bit of extra time to really think about, is this really like impacting my story as much as I want it to? I'll share this with you. I went through a workshop with somebody before, and this was all about business storytelling. And this is all about like this book right here has a lot of good tips, like just starting from the beginning. How do you even like before you even get to the slides, what are things you need to be thinking of and all of this type of stuff. And they have it in different stories you may be trying to tell. If you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to like recommend something, like a big idea that you're trying to bring on board, different ways you can do it. But this has been really helpful. I'd also encourage you all start looking online for slide templates. And again, make them consistent with what it is that you're trying to go. Like you can't just take a slide template and think that, oh, I have this slide template and just put stuff in there. You have to, again, take time to craft the story, make it make sense with your narrative. And that takes time. And just things such as like visual consistency, font sizes, all that good stuff, pictures, make sure the pictures aren't too stretched. I will say if you're going into more of a consulting standpoint, especially like at a Big Four, you'll get some of these skills. But again, some of these skills you have to develop, right? You have to take time and develop them yourselves. And the more you all start getting into that now, the better you will be later. And I know this because I have gotten multiple compliments on how I show up to like my executive audiences, the slides that I build out. Like I've gotten it throughout my time that I've been in corporate, and I've just consistently tried to build on it. So that's why I'm imploring you all to do the same thing, because it will be helpful. It will help you later. Um, and next thing too, sorry, before I move on, looking at my notes here, is just around whenever you're writing your story, whenever you're crafting your narrative, always think about the end user in mind, your audience. Who is this you're really trying to sell this with, or whatever, push this to? So when you think about, for instance, you might work for, I'm just thinking Walmart, right? Or maybe not, I don't know. Say you work for Walmart and you're trying to push something down at the store level, then probably who your audience is when you're looking to push it down at the store level are the store managers, right? And so making sure that your narrative and how you're pushing it makes sense for them, not necessarily your peers in corporate, right? So, and that's not to say it needs to make sense overall, but how you write it, the narrative you're telling, it will definitely land with that group for sure. Okay. So that's the third tip. I mean, that's the second tip. The third one is getting good with AI. So I know AI, there's a lot of, I know people feel differently about AI right now, and I understand that. I will say, from a workplace standpoint, you can see, like, if you're following the news, anything like that, like, companies are really getting on board with AI right now. And it's more like, I'd encourage you all to think about using AI as more of a strategic partner, not like a editor, right? Like an editor of your work. That stuff is helpful too, but the key, like the thing that makes AI stand out the most is it can really help you think about problems differently, right? And look into solving them differently, in a way that helps you that shows up better. That does not take away the need for, aligning with others, ideating with others, all of that. But it just helps you get a better starting ground for you to go after what it is you're looking to go after in whatever situation. And I didn't really think about AI in that way until a coworker actually recommended this book to me. The AI Driven Leader, Jeff Woods. And that helped me look at AI a little bit differently. There's a lot of case studies in here where he's talking about, I think there was somebody who was getting ready to go out of business, and he was just, he was an entrepreneur and all of that. And this person leveraged AI on, how are they to just think about their business differently. What consumer are they not like leaning in, or where can they really bring their product to? And AI gave them a very unique approach. And it helped. So that's what I mean, that, leverage the tool that you have. If you are one of those people that are very like conscious or something like that, which is great, we all should be, just don't use it as a copyright, because that's just what I would suggest, because I think, again, AI is going to be really helpful. It's one of those tools, just like with any type of tool we get as humans. How do you use it type of situation? Are you abusing it? Are you using it too much? Overuse, like that's an issue. Versus, are you using it, for a very specific task or specific things that you're looking to drive that can be helpful for not just you, but the greater good of whatever it is of the work that you're doing right now. So that's another, tool that's another skill that's more, it's a newer skill, but it's one that I want you all to start thinking about now, because it's already here, right? And then the last one is around stakeholder management and alignment. And the reason I say this is when I first came and joined, I felt like, oh, my work is my work, and I have to drive this idea, and I have to kind of like, it was too much ownership over the work versus like shared ownership of it. And how do you get shared ownership of it? Again, it's more of that stakeholder alignment, working with others, bringing others in, getting their ideas, sharing your ideas, and not getting so married to the work that you're doing, in that it is the work that you're doing that when someone comes and critiques you or things of that nature, that you are now like personally insulted, because that's not just the case. That's not the case. And I know, like, when I came on very early on, like, there was something that I was driving, And it just wasn't being pushed the way I needed it to be pushed or wanted it to be pushed. And I was like, first of all, way too attached to it. But second of all, I hadn't really done my due diligence on why we're doing it and really bringing, again, our stakeholder groups along for the problem we're trying to solve and bringing them on early on to get their ideas, right? I think there are ways in which, this is kind of more communication, but there are ways that you can bring people in, you can criticize all of this, all of that, like by asking questions, by being curious, by really leveraging like that green mindset and, you know, putting your stuff up to the plate, to the fire, so that you're really bringing out the best product. And I think, again, aligning with your stakeholders, getting them on board, really engaging them, it helps move the work so much easier. And that's something you learn with time, but it's something that I had to learn personally. And it's something that I want, you know, if you were anything like me when I was in grad school, I was very much intense and was like going for it. I was like, no, this is mine. I got this and X, Y, and Z. And when I look back on that, that probably was not the best approach. Because it can alienate people from you, but then B, it's one of those things where I probably would have had a better output and a better product had I aligned with my stakeholders a lot better, like a lot sooner and a lot better, and really bringing in their ideas. Because again, everybody has a unique perspective, and that's the whole purpose of working in groups, so that people can bring in their perspectives. So I hope this video was helpful for you. These are just kind of my top 4 that I've been reflecting on a lot lately that has helped me kind of gain an edge in the work that I do. And it's one that I continuously just put myself, hold myself accountable to, right? Always building on those skills and just upping myself even more, because again, if I can get these things right, these are, and let me just say, these are all transferable skills. These skills can go anywhere. No matter what role you get, if you know how to do these skills, you can do anything. That's how I feel personally. You can literally do anything. So I just wanted to share that with you all. I really hope it was helpful. Thanks for joining, and feel free to reach out anytime with any questions, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.